As a clinician who has spent over 2 decades focusing on geriatric health and ophthalmology, I have sat across from thousands of patients grappling with the fear of a fading world. Their stories, while unique in their personal details, often share a common, tragic thread, a gradual, almost imperceptible dimming of the vibrant tapestry of life. Vision, the sense we rely upon to navigate our world, recognize loved ones, and witness beauty, begins to blur. The culprit is often a diagnosis of age-related macular degeneration, or, most commonly, cataracts, a clouding of the eye's natural lens that is the leading cause of blindness worldwide. Many accept this as an inevitable consequence of aging, a cruel trick of time that we are powerless to prevent. They resign themselves to thicker glasses, brighter lights, and, eventually, the surgeon's table. But what I have learned, both through rigorous scientific study and countless patient histories, is that this narrative of inevitability is often a dangerous misconception. While genetics and time certainly play a role, the single most powerful, modifiable factor in the health of your eyes is not found in a medicine bottle, but on the end of your fork. The lens of your eye is a masterpiece of biological engineering. It's composed primarily of water and highly organized proteins called crystallins. This precise arrangement is what allows it to be perfectly transparent, focusing light onto the retina with flawless clarity. However, this delicate structure is incredibly vulnerable to a process called oxidative stress. Think of it as a slow, internal rusting. The metabolic processes in our body, combined with environmental factors, create unstable molecules called free radicals. These molecules roam through our system, damaging cells, DNA, and proteins. The crystallins in the lens are a prime target. Simultaneously, another insidious process is at play: glycation. When you consume excess sugar, that sugar molecule can attach itself to proteins in a haphazard way, forming harmful compounds known as advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These AGEs are disastrous for the eyes. They cause the flexible, clear crystalline proteins to become stiff, brittle, and yellowed, cross-linking them into a cloudy, opaque mess. This is the very definition of a cataract. Therefore, our mission is not to find a magic pill, but to eliminate the very architects of this destruction from our diet. It's about starving the processes of oxidative stress and glycation. Over the next 2 parts of this article, I will detail the 7 categories of foods that are the primary fuel for these vision-destroying processes. Avoiding them is not a suggestion. I believe it is an absolute necessity for anyone who wishes to see their grandchildren's faces with clarity in their golden years. Let's begin with the most obvious, yet most pervasive, culprits. 1. The liquid sugar onslaught, sugary beverages, and fruit juices. If there were a single villain in the story of modern chronic disease, it would be refined sugar, particularly in liquid form. Sodas, sweetened iced teas, energy drinks, and even seemingly healthy fruit juices deliver a catastrophic dose of fructose and sucrose directly into your bloodstream. This causes a massive, immediate spike in blood glucose. Your body scrambles to produce insulin to manage this flood, and over time, this can lead to insulin resistance, a precursor to type 2 diabetes. For your eyes, the damage is direct and devastating. This surge of blood sugar provides the raw material for the glycation process I described earlier. The sugar molecules begin to bind to the delicate proteins in your eye's lens, relentlessly building those vision-clouding AGEs. Studies have shown a direct, dose-dependent relationship between high sugar intake and the risk of developing cataracts. Furthermore, this inflammatory cascade contributes to damage in the tiny, fragile blood vessels of the retina, increasing the risk for diabetic retinopathy and macular degeneration. People often tell me, "But I drink 100% fruit juice, it's natural." I must be clear. Your body does not distinguish between the sugar in a can of cola and the sugar in a glass of processed apple juice. When the fiber is removed from the fruit, You are left with a concentrated blast of fructose that overwhelms your metabolic systems and directly contributes to the clouding of your vision. 2. The white menace. Refined carbohydrates. The second category is a close cousin to the first. White bread, white rice, pasta made from refined flour, crackers, and most packaged breakfast cereals are what I call the white menace. These foods have been stripped of their fiber and nutrients during processing. As a result, your digestive system converts them into glucose with alarming speed, creating nearly the same blood sugar spike as pure sugar. Think of eating a slice of white bread as being functionally equivalent to eating a spoonful of table sugar. This chronic elevation of blood glucose and the subsequent insulin spikes create a state of perpetual, low-grade inflammation throughout your body. Inflammation is a key driver of oxidative stress, the rusting process that damages the cells of your macula, the part of the retina responsible for sharp, central vision. A diet high in refined carbohydrates has been strongly linked in major epidemiological studies, like the Age-Related Eye Disease Study, ARDS, to a significantly higher risk of advanced age-related macular degeneration, AMD. By choosing these foods, you are quite literally feeding the inflammatory fire that can eventually rob you of your central vision, making it impossible to read, drive, or recognize faces. Swapping these for whole grain, high-fiber alternatives is one of the most powerful protective steps you can take. 3. The inflammatory fats, trans fats, and hydrogenated oils. For decades, we were told to fear fat, leading to the creation of a host of fat-free products and the promotion of margarine and vegetable shortening as heart-healthy alternatives to butter. This may go down as one of the most catastrophic public health mistakes of the 20th century. The fats created through industrial processing, trans fats, often listed as partially hydrogenated oils, are profoundly toxic to the human body. These artificial fats are potent drivers of systemic inflammation. They damage the lining of your blood vessels, a condition known as endothelial dysfunction. Your eyes are supplied by a network of minuscule blood vessels that are exceptionally vulnerable to this type of damage. When these vessels become inflamed and stiff, the flow of oxygen-rich blood and vital nutrients to the retina and optic nerve is compromised. This starves the delicate photoreceptor cells. You need a healthy ratio to build strong, flexible cell membranes. The photoreceptor cells in your retina have a very high concentration of omega-3s. Their elimination from your diet is non-negotiable for long-term eye health. In the first part of our discussion, we unmasked 3 of the most significant dietary culprits behind vision loss in older adults: the sugar bombs in liquid form, the blood sugar spiking refined carbohydrates, and the inflammatory artificial fats. These enemies are relatively well known. However, the next set of foods are often more insidious, frequently masquerading as convenient or even harmless staples of the modern diet. They work through different but equally damaging pathways, creating a perfect storm of conditions that accelerate the aging of the eye. Let's pull back the curtain on these hidden saboteurs. 4. The preserved killers. Processed and cured meats. That convenient package of deli ham for your sandwich, the savory bacon or sausage with your breakfast, the hot dog at a family barbecue. These are staples in many Western diets. They're also packed with compounds that are profoundly hostile to your delicate ocular system. Processed meats are defined by their method of preservation, which typically involves curing, smoking, salting, or the addition of chemical preservatives. The primary offenders here are nitrates and nitrites. In the body, these compounds can lead to the formation of nitrosamines, which are potent free radicals. As we discussed, free radicals drive oxidative stress, the rusting process that damages the proteins in your lens and the cells in your macula. Think of eating processed meat as inviting a swarm of these cell-damaging agents directly into your body. But the damage doesn't stop there. Processed meats contain exceptionally high levels of sodium, a mineral we will discuss in more detail next. This sodium load contributes to high blood pressure or hypertension. Hypertension is a silent killer of vision. The retina is nourished by a network of the tiniest, most fragile blood vessels in the entire body. High blood pressure exerts a relentless, damaging force on the walls of these vessels. Over time, this can lead to a condition called hypertensive retinopathy, where the vessels can leak blood and fluid into the retina, causing swelling and blurred vision. In severe cases, it can damage the optic nerve, leading to permanent vision loss. The combination of oxidative stress from nitrates and vascular damage from sodium makes processed meats a two-pronged attack on your eyesight. 5. The silent pressure. High sodium convenience foods. While processed meats are a major source of sodium, the true bulk of our intake comes from packaged and prepared foods. Canned soups, frozen dinners, bottled sauces, packaged snack foods, and even many healthy prepared meals are loaded with sodium to enhance flavor and extend shelf life. The average person consumes more than double the recommended daily amount of sodium, and this has dire consequences for your eyes. As mentioned, sodium's primary role in vision damage is through its effect on blood pressure. Every point your blood pressure rises increases the strain on your retinal blood vessels. But there's another, more direct mechanism. High sodium intake can lead to fluid retention throughout the body. While most people notice this as swollen ankles or fingers, this same fluid dynamic can affect the eye itself. Some research suggests that chronic high sodium intake can contribute to an increase in intraocular pressure, IOP, the fluid pressure inside the eye. While the link between dietary sodium and glaucoma, a disease characterized by high IOP that damages the optic nerve, is still being investigated, managing all factors that influence IOP is a prudent, protective strategy. Furthermore, a high-sodium diet often displaces a diet rich in potassium, a mineral found in fruits and vegetables that helps to relax blood vessels and counteract sodium's effects. By relying on salty, processed convenience foods, you're not only consuming a toxic excess of sodium, but also missing out on the very nutrients that could protect you from its harm. 6. The nutrient thief. Excessive alcohol consumption. A glass of red wine with dinner is often touted for its health benefits, and in moderation, it may not be harmful. The problem is excessive consumption, which for geriatric health is a much lower threshold than in a younger person, often defined as more than 1 drink per day for women and 2 for men. Alcohol acts as a systemic toxin that impacts vision through several distinct mechanisms. First, alcohol is a powerful diuretic, meaning it causes your body to lose water. Chronic dehydration can lead to dry eye syndrome, a condition that is not only uncomfortable but can also cause fluctuating blurry vision and, in severe cases, damage to the surface of the cornea. Second, and more importantly, the metabolism of alcohol in the liver generates a massive amount of free radicals, contributing significantly to the body's total oxidative load. This systemic oxidative stress doesn't just stay in the liver. It circulates throughout the body, damaging the vulnerable structures of the eye. Third, alcohol is a nutrient thief. It interferes with the body's absorption and utilization of key vitamins essential for eye health, particularly vitamin A and the B-complex vitamins. Vitamin A is a critical component of rhodopsin, the pigment in your retina that allows you to see in low light. A deficiency can lead to night blindness. B vitamins, particularly B12, are crucial for the health of the optic nerve. Alcohol-related neuropathy can permanently damage this nerve. Finally, chronic alcohol use depletes the body's stores of key antioxidants like glutathione, which your body produces to protect the lens from oxidative damage. By drinking excessively, you are simultaneously increasing the oxidative attack on your eyes while stripping them of their natural defenses. 7. The Great Deception. Diet low-fat and fat-free processed foods. This final category is perhaps the most deceptive of all. In response to the misguided war on fat, the food industry created an entire universe of products labeled diet, low-fat, or fat-free. Consumers, believing they're making a healthy choice, often consume these in large quantities. This is a trap. When manufacturers remove fat from a product, they remove the primary source of its flavor and satisfying texture. to make these products palatable. They compensate by adding enormous amounts of sugar, high fructose corn syrup, sodium, artificial flavorings, and chemical texturizers. A low-fat fruit yogurt can have more sugar than a candy bar. A diet salad dressing can be a chemical cocktail of sugar, salt, and inflammatory vegetable oils. Therefore, these foods are not a solution. They're often worse than their full-fat counterparts. They expose you to the very things we've identified as harmful: massive sugar loads that drive glycation and inflammation, and high sodium levels that raise blood pressure. They lull you into a false sense of security while delivering a payload of vision-damaging ingredients. The lesson here is to eat real, whole foods. An avocado, rich in healthy monounsaturated fats, is infinitely better for you than a fat-free cookie that is packed with sugar and chemicals. Learning to read labels and ignore the health claims on the front of the package is a critical skill for protecting your health. Part 3. The Path to Clarity, a Deeper Understanding and Conclusion. We have now systematically identified the 7 horsemen of the dietary apocalypse for aging eyes: sugary drinks, refined carbs, trans fats, processed meats, high-sodium convenience foods, excessive alcohol, and the deceptive diet products. Avoiding these is the single most impactful strategy for preserving your vision. But to truly empower you to make lasting change, it is crucial to understand the science on a deeper level and to frame this journey not just as one of avoidance, but as one of proactive protection. An in-depth explanation, the cellular battlefield. Let's zoom in on a microscopic level. Imagine the lens of your eye. It is made of those perfectly arranged crystalline proteins. When you drink a soda, the resulting flood of glucose enters the fluid of the eye, the aqueous humor. Here, a process called non-enzymatic glycation occurs. A sugar molecule directly and destructively bonds to a crystalline protein. This is an advanced glycation end product, AG. This AG is no longer a normal protein. It's stiff, less soluble, and has a yellowish-brown tint. Over years, as millions of these AGs form, they cross-link with each other, creating large aggregates. The once clear lens becomes progressively hazy, yellow, and rigid. Light can no longer pass through cleanly. This is not a mysterious disease. It is a straightforward chemical reaction, like an egg white slowly turning opaque as it cooks. You are quite literally slowly cooking the lenses of your eyes with sugar. Now, shift your focus to the retina at the back of the eye. The macula, at its center, has the highest metabolic rate of any tissue in the body. It is constantly working, processing light, and sending signals to the brain. This high energy demand produces a tremendous amount of metabolic waste and free radicals. Your body has a built-in antioxidant defense system, using nutrients like lutein, zeaxanthin, and vitamin C to neutralize these free radicals. But when you eat a meal of fried chicken, trans fats, and French fries, refined carbs, high sodium, you do 2 things. You flood the system with pro-inflammatory compounds that generate even more free radicals, and you fail to provide the antioxidant nutrients needed to clean up the mess. The defenses are overwhelmed. The rusting process of oxidative stress runs rampant, killing off the vital photoreceptor cells in the macula. This creates blind spots and distortion in your central vision, the hallmark of macular degeneration. The dietary choices you make at every meal determine whether you're arming your defenses or fueling the attack. Conclusion: taking command of your vision. The information presented here may feel overwhelming, even frightening. My intent is not to scare you, but to awaken you to the profound power you hold. The preservation of your sight is not a matter of luck. It is a matter of choice. It is the cumulative effect of the thousands of choices you make in the kitchen and at the grocery store. To see this not as a diet of deprivation, but as a new standard of self-care, you must shift your focus from what you are losing to what you are gaining. Every time you say no to a soda, you are saying yes to a clearer lens. Every time you choose a piece of grilled salmon over a hot dog, You're actively fighting inflammation and nourishing your retina with protective omega-3 fats. Every time you snack on a handful of blueberries instead of a fat-free cracker, you are bathing your eyes in powerful antioxidants. The path forward is simple, though not always easy. Is the path of real food. Build your diet around a rainbow of vegetables and fruits, rich in the eye-specific antioxidants lutein and zeaxanthin, found in leafy greens like spinach and kale, and vitamin C in berries and citrus. Embrace healthy fats from olive oil, avocados, nuts, and fatty fish. Choose lean proteins. Hydrate with water, the most essential nutrient of all. Your vision is the lens through which you experience the world's beauty. It allows you to see the sunrise, the words in a beloved book, and the smile on a loved one's face. Protecting it is one of the most profound acts of love you can give to your future self. It begins not in the doctor's office, but with your next meal. Choose wisely. Choose clarity. Choose a vibrant, well-seen future.